let's check 1.4, adding real numbers. First objective is just about how to do the addition with real numbers. So basically, we could use the number line to help us do the addition. But here I do not recommend this method, because if each time we do the addition we need to draw a number line, so it's total waste of time. So we talk about just the rules how to do the addition of real numbers. First of all, if we want to add two real numbers, we should check the sign. So if these two numbers has the same sign, if they have the same sign, two numbers, so we just need to add their absolute value. So A and B, same sign, A and B. So we only need to add their absolute value. Then use their common sign. What does this mean? For example, if we do the addition with this number, 3 plus 1/5. So first we check these two numbers. They have the same sign, right? They are both positive number. So they have the same sign, they're positive sign. So we only need to add their absolute value. Of course, the absolute value 3 is 3. And the absolute value of 1/5 is just 1/5. So the number will be 3 1/5. Because they both have the positive sign, so the answer also with a positive sign, which is not shown here, right? But for example, if we do -3 minus 1/5, we can treat negative minus 1/5 just like plus negative 1/5. This is just the same meaning, right? We can treat -3 minus 1/5 just as -3 plus negative 1/5. When we check these two numbers, we realize they both have negative sign, which means our answer should have the negative sign. Use their common sign. So negative sign. Then next step, we only need to add their absolute value. So the absolute value of -3, which is 3, and the absolute value of -1/5 is also 1/5. So the answer will be -3 1/5. Okay, this is the first situation if they just have the same sign. So the second situation will be just a different sign. If two numbers with different signs, this time we should do the subtraction, actually. We should subtract their absolute value. Absolute value. Then the answer has the same sign as the number with the larger. Answer has the sign. Has the same sign with the larger absolute value. Okay, we will use the example to help you understand what does that mean. This time we try to use 4 minus 10. So first, we can transfer our addition to the, I'll transfer our subtraction into the addition, right? If 4 minus 10, we can treat it as 4 plus negative 10. Now we check these two numbers, 4 and the negative 10. We realize they have different signs, right? Different signs. So first we should determine the sign of our answer. So the answer should have the same sign with the larger absolute value. We check 4 and the negative 10, we realize negative 10 has the greater absolute value. So our answer should with negative sign, just like negative 10. After that, we only need to get the difference between their absolute value. So their absolute value will be 10 minus 4. Absolute value of negative 10 is 10, and the absolute value of 4 is 4. So the difference between these two absolute value is 10 minus 4. So the final answer will be negative 6. Okay. Let's check another example. This time we have negative 14 plus 6. If you want, you can put parentheses here. Okay. So when we check these two numbers, negative 14 and 6, we realize they have different sign. So we check which one has greater absolute value. We realize negative 15, negative number has greater absolute value. So our answer should have negative sign, right? Then we only need to get the difference between two absolute value. So 14, negative 14 has the absolute value is 14. And absolute value of 6 is just 6. So we keep the negative sign. Then try to find the difference of two absolute value. So this time we have negative 8. Of course, when you do the practice, if you want to use the number line to help you understand the addition, that's totally fine. But when you do your quiz, do your exam, I think this way is a better way, okay? Because it needs less time to do it, okay? So second objective is find the opposites. So definition of opposites are two numbers at the same distance from 0, but lie on opposite sides of 0. Okay, so you can think they have the same absolute value, but different sign. Because same distance means the same absolute value. So opposites means same distance. So which means same absolute value. But with different sides of 0, which means different sign. So let's check some examples. Try to find the opposites of some numbers. First, 10. So what's the opposite of 10? We'll say with the same absolute value. Of course, it should be also with the absolute value of 10, but different sign. So if the original number is positive number, then its opposite should be negative number. So negative 10 will be the opposite of 10, right? Let's check another one. If the original number is negative 4.5, so different sign, so our opposite will be positive, right? But with the same distance, which means the same absolute value. So the number is positive 4.5, so of course we can just write 4.5. Okay, so remember, you should check they have the same distance, which means they have the same number but different sign. That's the definition of opposites. But we have some property of this. A plus negative A equals 0. Okay, so a number plus its opposite, the sum is always 0. Of course, negative 5 plus its opposite, it will be 5, it's equal to 0. Okay, or 5 minus 5. We can treat it as 5 plus its opposite, negative 5, equals 0. This is always true. Okay? So next one will be objective C. Is still about evaluating the expression. So this is just the same as the last section, 1.3. But this time maybe we have more than one variables. So let's just check the example together. So if we have 2x plus y it's just expression, not equation. But when x is equal 3 and y is equal to negative 5, so we want to evaluate this expression. What should we do? We need to plug the number into the expression, right? Which means we should use 3, because here x is equal to 3, so we can use 3 to replace x. Then y is equal to negative 5, we use negative 5 to replace y. After that, we can do 2 times 3, we get, because we need to do the multiplication first, right? 6 plus negative 5. Then we follow the rule to do the addition. Which one has greater absolute value? Obviously, it's 6. So our final answer should be a positive number. Then they with different sign, positive, negative. So we only need to get the difference of these two absolute value. So it's just 6 minus 5, right? So it's 1, positive 1. We can check another one. If it's x plus 3y, when x equals negative 6 and y equals 2. So we use negative 6 to replace x, right? And we use 2 to replace y. Then we can find it's negative 6. Of course, we should do the multiplication first. Plus 6. We can easily get the answer is 0 because one number plus its opposite is equal to 0. Okay. All right, the last objective, object D, is about application problem. Application problem. So for example, we talk about in Philadelphia, the record extreme high temperature. The record high temperature 104 degree. Okay, it also says decrease this temperature. Decrease it by 111 degrees. It will be. It is just record extreme low temperature. So we want to know what's the number. What's the recorded low temperature? So it's just like we need to translate our words into expression. Then we can solve it, right? So we try to find the keywords. So first, we know a number, it's 104. Then we want to decrease this number by 111. So we put 104 first. If we find the keyword decrease, which indicates we should use the subtraction, right? So we can decrease it, which is minus 111. Okay, so we will get the recorded low. Of course, we can do the subtraction directly to get the answer of this kind of questions. But since we are in 1.4, in this section, we are talking about adding real numbers. So here we can also treat it like this way. We can treat the minus 111 just like a plus negative 111. Okay, we can transfer it to be an addition. Then we follow the rule. We check which one has bigger absolute value because they have different sign, right? Positive 104 and a negative 111. So different sign, we need to check which one has greater absolute value. So the negative number will have the greater absolute value, which means our answer should also have negative sign. Then we only need to find the difference of two absolute values. So the difference of two absolute value is just 111 minus 104. So it's just negative 7. So negative 7 degree is our final answer. Okay, we can talk about another example of this kind of application problem. So if we say a company has the quarterly net income. Okay, the first quarter, the net income is negative, so in million, so negative 6.8 million. Negative number means the company actually do not earn money, right? They earn less money than they spend than what they spend, so they lose money actually. So second quarter, the net income is still a negative number. It's negative 110.2. The third quarter is negative 87.8. Still lose some money. And the last one, it's a positive number, so they earn money. We are interested in the total net income. Total net income. We want to know the total net income. So, which means we should find the total, and the total is the keywords here. We need to do the addition. So we need to add them up, right? The first number, first quarter is a negative number, plus the second quarter, plus the third quarter, and the last one will be a positive number. So when we check all of these numbers, we realize the answer should have a negative sign, right? Should have a negative sign, because if we add this, we can do it step by step. So we can do it from left to right. First step, we check these two numbers. Negative plus negative, which means they have same sign. So our answer will have same sign, negative. And we need to add up their absolute value. So we will get 117. 6.8 plus 110.2, we will get 117. Then we do the remaining part. We check this one. Still two negative numbers, so our answer will be still keep the common sign, negative sign. Then we try to add up their absolute value. So it will be 204.8, because 117 plus 87.8, we will get this 204.8. Right? We only add up their absolute value because they have the same sign. So we keep the negative sign and add up their absolute value. After that, we do the last step. This time we have negative sign and a positive sign, but we realize the negative number has greater absolute value, which means our answer should has negative sign. Next step, we only need to find the difference between the absolute value. Right? So the absolute value of negative 204.8 is just 204.8. So our answer should keep the negative sign and find the difference of these two numbers. We will get 192.2. So make sure you know the final answer should be the negative 192.2. So our total here is negative. This is our